Hello, welcome back to Good Storms Games. We're gonna build. Well, I mean, I built an octogun. It's a rotating octogun. There's not much to it. This is gonna be a really short video. There's actually a bit more than a little to it. Well, one thing is there's all of this mess. Now, this doesn't work 100% the way I wanted it to. As you can see, this basically takes a spin block, and I named it rotary gun. Which, if you don't know, I got number 3 here. It's a tool thing that you can use to rename blocks. So you can name all sorts of different blocks, and then you can use the block setter or the block getter to get information from that specific block, whether it's a, 4-meter metal beam or a spin block. It doesn't really matter. Actually, can I just name this and just be like top? Sure. I wonder if I can actually do that. I'm getting distracted already. This is supposed to be a short little video. I'm already getting a... Nah, it doesn't do that. Let's delete that. There's all sorts of stuff. Event input. There, cram fire. Event block lost. Yeah, it's the volumes on the block destroyed. Yeah, I don't know. There's a few things that I realized that I want in the game, in from the depths, that would make certain things possible. So, for one, this octogun is controlled by a local weapon controller, right? To aim it. But the thing is it also fires the guns, and I wish I could have it aim without firing the guns, because all of this is kind of pointless if you can't have it shoot the way you want it to. This will just fire all of the different weapons, and I just numbered them on the octogun 1 to 8, and they all fire within certain degrees, basically. So the actual azimuth of the spin block, and up here you've got the target. This is the primary target info. If it exists, then it'll send a thing here, and this basically, it sets it to 1 degree per second rotation speed, and this up here basically just switches it from rotatable to continuous. So rotatable brings it back to 0, so it sits there, and that way it won't fire anything. If I didn't have it set to that, and I didn't have these things set up, right? Let me just go back into here. If I didn't have this set up, these constraints here set up properly, the gun would continue to fire even when there wasn't any enemies, and that'd be a waste of ammo and such. As it is, this thing does pretty much always miss its first shot, because there's a few things that aren't in the game, and I haven't gone through the breadboard long enough to figure out how to make the weapon shoot at an enemy accurately enough, because I'd have to do things, change a bunch of different values and do a bunch of math in order to calculate the trajectory of the shots and change the angle of the two, like individually change the angles of both this turret and the bottom turret, so in order to hit the target. That's the only way you could make that code work, basically, is by adding a bunch more code, instead of being able to just turn off the firing on the weapon controller, because right now it shoots at things, right? Actually, I wonder if it can... That's range, detection, engage. There is not a fire rate constraint on these, is there? That's annoying. But yeah, it basically this all-in-one local weapon controller doesn't really help me in this situation. It actually makes things kind of goofy. So this weapon works, but doesn't work exactly the way I wanted it to. If I could turn off the weapon controller from firing, like it just can't, like either on the ammo or the, if I could change on the fire piece, have a option that allows me to turn off the fire indication from the weapon controller, or the weapon controller, I can prevent it from doing the fire command. It would be a lot more handy, basically. It'd make my life a heck of a lot easier, because then I could use the weapon controller for aiming so that it could be accurate, and I could just use the breadboard for firing the weapon. It will still shoot before. So actually, I could put a timer on this before turning on the rate controller. There should be a timer somewhere. Playback. Oh, that's a sound clip. Sorry. I could have sworn there was a timer. Time. Total. Delta. Delete component. Yeah, no. Rotation, orientation. I forget. There is a timer somewhere. I just don't remember what it's called on here. It's not really a timer. Oh, it's a one shot, right? Yep. It will pass a non-zero input to the output once. The output will be 0 after this. Includes a reset timer. Yep. So that potentially could be a timer. No, that doesn't make any sense. Just time. Yeah, I don't remember. Anyways, there is a timer function somehow, and I don't remember how it works in here somewhere, and if you've played around with breadboards long enough, you'll know it, you'll stumble upon it. Anyways, so all of this stuff is kind of like, it sort of works, but it doesn't work properly because of the fire control computer over here, the local weapon controller. And you know, you guys came here to see this thing work, so we're gonna spawn in a we're gonna spawn in something. You know what? Let's spawn in here, I think. Yep. All right, let's spawn in over here because we want to see this thing shoot. You know, let's do the back door. Yep, there we go. Oh god. Make that invincible. There we go. And yeah, so that's I think it's a 20-part shell that goes in there. It's pretty good damage. And it's spinning, and it's shooting. It's actually pretty good. We're getting pulled in at the moment. There goes another shot. There we go. Yeah, it's supposed to shoot once the barrel gets to a certain spot, so it all shoots from the same spot. But it doesn't quite work that way because of the fire local weapon controller, as I've said before. I was really hoping we'd be able to make some really nice rotating guns, but there's a few problems. These torpedoes are kind of cool, I guess. Yeah, lots of custom. There's been so much work on missiles. There's a few things that just get left behind. I'd love to see more durable sails, because I like putting sails on things. They're a lot of fun, but they're just, these things are very flimsy. Like, these have 400 health, and these are just propellers, right? And the sails have no health at all. And they also are extremely susceptible to explosions. Yeah, I'm just gonna claim this stuff. Anyways, that's the Octo gun. It's a diff gun. Let's just look at the shell. It's 20-part shell. It's a railgun. This thing costs, I believe, around 30k for this one gun, which is the price of some ships. So I'm not sure if it's really worth it, but it looks cool. It's a lot of fun. I'm gonna turn off the weapons on that thing. There we go. But yeah, if I pull this back out, we can let it shoot again. Too bad I can't do this in campaign, but there's the shell going. Woo! Kaboof! Oh, it does such nice damage. Ugh. Especially shape charge frag shell. So, and I lessen it so it has a bit of explosive damage. So it kind of pokes holes in the shell, the hull of things, where it hits. And then hopefully it'll sink those shells deeper into the ship, so that the frag can do a bit more damage. Because shape charges, they go off as soon as they hit things. So, I mean, I could also change the flak shell a bit. Yeah, let's watch it fire again. It's a lot of fun. It shot itself. Ooh, missed. Ooh. It's a little over penetration. Oof. Oh. Just look at all that damage. So happy. Makes me so happy. But yeah, I don't know, I just made this Octogun. It's a lot of fun. I love building stuff in From the Depths. It's mostly about building stuff. It's hard to play the campaign because there's not really any, like, I don't know, there's not a lot of easy things to go against in the campaign, so it's pretty tough. I really do like this ship, the Albacore. Yeah, or the Abactor. It's fascinating. I get the idea behind it. But did I already take out their engine? Oh, their engine's destroyed. That's kind of cool. Oh, it's got a spawn anchor on it? Huh. I wonder where the Abactor spawns with. To have that spawn anchor thing there. Interesting. They have a front room? Oh, it's cool. I love the Deepwater Guard. It's so... like, the Deepwater Guard's so fun. Their ships are always so much fun. I really love them. Because they have such interesting interiors, right? They're just so much fun. Is this all just decoration? Probably. It's pretty cool though. Pretty cool. Alright, let's spawn this in one more time, but this time we're gonna actually watch the gun go. See what I mean? It kind of doesn't shoot right. I do a bunch of goofy stuff just to try and get it to kind of shoot at a fairly decent rate. Potentially you could make a gun like this. There's a spin block and they kind of clip together. The gun, so there's spin block 4 and then there's 4 on the other spin block that spins. And so then it makes this rotary gun of 8. You could definitely make more, guns on the same diff. More of these diff guns, and they're rail guns as well, so At 500 millimeters. So you could potentially get a really high rate of fire if you could program it into a breadboard. You get a pretty decent rate of fire if you built enough of these, but you probably end up spending like 100,000 on it. But it might be worth it just to have one big gun and just fire huge shells into your enemy and destroy them. Yeah, let's just look at those stats again. Here we go. So we've got kinetic damage of 24,000, explosive damage of 6,000, explosive radius of 13 meters, so it does a little bit more than that. But fragment count 26 at 4 armor piercing and almost 2,000 each. One does, and the heat damage is 6,000. I specifically made it so the heat secondary fray count was specifically 6,000, because that's how much a heavy armor block takes in damage. So I want 6,000. Now it's only 4 armor piercing, so you really would want 60,000 to take out any heavy armor block. So if I made this entirely, let's create a new shell, edit. If I make a entirely shape charge or heat shell, HE, da, 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 da. HE. The other thing is we could definitely, with the railgun, go higher. So you could make a much more powerful rotary cannon like this. There needs some tweaking, though. If I could remember my trajectory math and such, I would continue with the breadboard. But right now, I'm not going to. Otherwise, it's going to take forever. I'll just be spending weeks doing all the trajectory work to get one of these rotary cannons to work the way I want it to work. But at that point, they wouldn't have a weapon controller, so they'd be just operating off of breadboard, which, you know, saves space, but it would feel a little cheaty almost. But you have to take it into account of the orientation of your vessel and as well as their vessel and get it to aim properly, which is a bit of a nightmare. So this firepower, what does it say? The high explosive. Oh, this is supposed to be 500 millimeter. 500 millimeter. So even if you go full with a diff gun, full shape charge, you can't do enough damage to take out a piece of heavy armor, which is disappointing, but you can do a lot of damage by it having that penetration metric. That's kind of why the frag is nice on this, because the frag will rip apart the outside and it does quite a bit of damage. So it'll rip the outer layer of armor off of something, and then you can hit the rest with your you can hit the rest with your shape charge and potentially do a lot of damage. Now, a secondary shape charge would be good too. You could do that. So you just go, shape charge heat, the secondary one. Yeah, this mostly for ERA armor. I don't know if it'll make a difference, but I forget what the secondary does. It does a lot less damage, but it's interesting. Yeah, anyways, that's everything. So I'll see you guys later. You guys have a really good one, and I'll see you guys next time. Ciao.